Welcome back to RetroListHQ. Today we're diving deep into the original Xbox library. The games that time forgot, the ones that aren't Halo or Fable, but still deserve a spot in your 2025 backlog. We're not talking about the obvious hits. Instead, we'll highlight the rare, the overlooked, and the unique experiences that define the console in their own way. If you love rediscovering gems from the past, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next list. And don't forget, we also run our sister channel, Contra Brothers Team, where we cover even more forgotten gaming lore. Stick around, because some of these titles might surprise you. First-person melee combat was rare in 2004, but Breakdown tried it. Instead of a faceless soldier, you played as Derek Cole, a man with strange powers. The game told its entire story from the first-person view, cutscenes included, that made you feel every fall, stumble, or punch in a way shooters didn't. The sci-fi narrative was ambitious, even messy, but still fascinating. It leaned into themes of identity, control, and destiny. The hand-to-hand combat felt clunky at times, but it was ahead of its era. The mix of superhuman powers and grounded environments kept things fresh. You weren't just a gun. Your fists mattered. Its cult following has kept the name alive for years. Few games tried to merge cinematic storytelling with immersive perspective like this. Bandai Namco took a real risk, and it shows. In 2025, it feels experimental in the best way. Playing it today feels like peeking into a design path gaming almost took. That makes it worth revisiting.
Well, your physical capabilities seem just fine. The next test is the last one.
Not just an action game. It was part deck builder, part arena combat. Imagine fighting with psychic powers, but your moves were tied to your deck. It felt like Yu-Gi-Oh! Crossed with third-person action. Strategy mattered just as much as reflexes. The visual style was moody, futuristic, and mysterious. Its story centered on memory and survival in a ruined world. At the time, it was a risky mix of genres. Battles could shift completely depending on the abilities you drew. It rewarded experimentation more than repetition. Microsoft took a gamble publishing it, and it didn't sell big. But the players who tried it never forgot it. Its unique combat system still has no real equal. That makes it stand out today, almost 2 decades later. Phantom Dust feels like a glimpse into a parallel Xbox timeline. And in 2025, it's still unlike anything else. Developed by From Software, before Dark Souls fame, a stylish hack-and-slash rooted in Japanese folklore. You controlled Raiko, an undead warrior bound to fight demons. Levels were highly destructible, letting you smash through temples and landscapes. Combat felt weighty but elegant, something From Software would refine later. Its gothic atmosphere was both beautiful and haunting. Few Xbox games captured Eastern mythology in this way. The orchestral soundtrack amplified the epic scale. Boss battles felt like legends coming to life. Otogi wasn't about realism, but about myth and spectacle. The art direction still looks gorgeous even today. Its pacing was slower than Devil May Cry, but just as intense. For Xbox owners in 2002, it felt exotic and fresh. Sadly, it never broke into the mainstream. Now it's a true hidden gem worth rediscovering. A direct sequel, but even bigger in scope. This time, you had multiple playable warriors. Each character had distinct fighting styles. That variety gave it more replay value than the first. Once again, destructible environments added chaos to battles. The art design leaned even harder into myth and fantasy. The story carried on Reikoa's legacy while expanding the lore. Boss encounters were massive and theatrical. Music and visuals combined to create a dreamlike quality. It was refined compared to the first, but still unique. Unfortunately, it remained niche outside Japan. Many Xbox owners never even heard of it. Yet, those who played it knew it was special. Otogi 2 deserves to be seen as From Software's early masterpiece. In 2025, it feels even more important as a piece of their history. Marketed as a cinematic experience, backed by Orson Scott Card's story, you played as Gideon, a man discovering his powers amid an alien invasion. The game combined third-person shooting with superhuman abilities. Levitation, energy blasts, and telekinesis made you feel powerful. The narrative aimed to be epic and emotional. Some even called it Xbox's sci-fi trilogy starter. Sadly, sequels never came. The launch was plagued by bugs and performance issues. But beneath that, there was ambition and vision. The music, composed by Tommy Tallarico, was stunning. Environments ranged from alien cities to starships. The sense of scale was impressive for the time. It had flaws, but it swung for the fences. Today, it feels like a bold experiment cut short. That makes revisiting it bittersweet, but fascinating. If you're enjoying this journey through forgotten Xbox classics, don't forget to hit subscribe. It helps us keep bringing you lists like this. And check out our sister channel, Contra Brothers Team, where we dig even deeper into gaming's lost corners. Inspired by John Carpenter's 1982 horror film, not a retelling, but a continuation of the story. You controlled Captain Blake, sent to investigate the base. The paranoia mechanic made it unique. Your squad could distrust you. Fear and suspicion shaped gameplay choices. Anyone could turn into the Thing at any time. That unpredictability kept tension high. Weapons were powerful, but ammo was scarce. Fire was your most reliable tool, just like in the movie. Atmosphere was thick with dread. Snowy landscapes added to the isolation. It blurred the line between horror and shooter. Fans of the film appreciated its respectful approach. Few horror games on Xbox matched its creativity. In 2025, it's still chilling. One of the most bizarre Xbox exclusives. You play as the US president in a mech suit. Yes, that's the premise. From Software leaned into satire and over-the-top action. It was only released in Japan, despite being about America. You fought your way across cities, landmarks, and military bases. Dialogue was ridiculous, but charming. The mech combat was surprisingly deep. Explosions and destruction were everywhere. Its tone was campy, but it knew it. For years, it was import only. That made it legendary among collectors. Its 2019 remaster finally brought it west. But the original Xbox version has its own charm. In 2025, it's still one of the strangest exclusives ever made.
Wait a minute! Before Metal Wolf could seize the area, under military orders, the soldiers blew up the Alcatraz cannon.
Developed by Smilebit, known for Jet Set Radio, a third-person shooter with heavy focus on jetpack movement. Levels were large and vertical, pushing players to master mobility. The controls were complex and intimidating at first, but once mastered, combat felt incredible. The steampunk meets alien aesthetic was distinctive. Missions involved exterminating insect-like creatures. The difficulty was tough, but rewarding. The soundtrack mixed orchestral with electronic tones. It felt experimental compared to mainstream shooters. Critics were split at launch, but fans loved its depth. It stood apart from Halo or Gears-style design. Few games have copied its feel since. In 2025, it's a cult classic for adventurous players. GunValkyrie shows Xbox at its most experimental. A horror adventure based on Lovecraft's mythos. You played Detective Jack Walters in Innsmouth. Survival wasn't about ammo, it was about sanity. The sanity system caused hallucinations and panic. Gunplay existed, but fear was the real weapon. The oppressive, decaying world felt authentic. Storytelling leaned into cosmic horror. It blended investigation with survival mechanics. Chase sequences remain some of the most tense moments on Xbox. The voice acting captured the unease perfectly. The game was ambitious, though buggy at times. Its psychological impact has aged well. Players looking for atmosphere still find it gripping. In 2025, it remains one of the best Lovecraftian games, and a reminder of how far horror can push storytelling. A quirky platformer set in a New Orleans-inspired world. Vince was a voodoo doll who harmed himself to hurt enemies. The mechanic made it stand out. Levels were colorful, creative, and surreal. The humor leaned into dark comedy. Music was jazzy and atmospheric. Environments ranged from graveyards to French Quarter streets. Boss fights required clever use of voodoo powers. It stood apart from Mario or Crash by being weirder. The voice acting gave Vince real personality. It was both charming and slightly twisted. Players who tried it often remember it fondly. The remaster years later gave it new life, but the original Xbox version has its unique flavor. In 2025, it's a perfect reminder of Xbox's playful side. And there you have it, 10 Xbox classics that still deserve attention in 2025. These aren't the usual suspects, but the games that gave the console its depth and weird charm. If you enjoyed this list, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to check out our sister channel, Contra Brothers Team, where we explore even more forgotten corners of gaming history. Thanks for watching, and keep those retro collections alive.
Press Y again to drop whatever you carry.